Hello there. We've had our Q4 E-Tron now for 6 months and covered about 6,000 miles, so I thought I'd do a little update to see how we're getting on with it. I'm going to start with the styling. That's one of the reasons we picked the Q4 over the Enyaq and the ID4, was the fact that we liked the way it looked, and I still think it's a great looking car. I've not seen many others about on the road due to the production shortages and delays they've been having, so it still looks pretty fresh, and I still think it looks kind of futuristic, but still recognisable as an Audi. When we were deciding on which car to get, we were slightly concerned that the central screen was a bit smaller on the Q4 than it was in the ID4 and the Enyaq. But to make up for that, the virtual cockpit screen with the dials in it is a bit bigger, and you can put some of the stuff from your main screen onto the instrument cluster, and you can swap things about. So you can have a map on there and have your music on the main screen, or you can swap around, vice versa. It also helps that all the heat and ventilation controls are below the main screen on separate physical buttons, so there's no kind of real estate wasted on the screen on those. Another concern we had with the Q4 was whether or not it would be as practical as the Enyaq and the ID4, given that on paper it has a smaller boot. And that's partly due to the sloping rear end on it, which is a little bit less practical than the more upright shape on the Enyaq. But again, pleasantly surprised with the amount of space that's in it. 520 litres on the boot up to the parcel shelf, and it has been used pretty fully to cram stuff in and carry a fair amount of stuff in there. The Enyaq would have held marginally more, but it's never been an issue for me so far. Next up, comfort and space. So this is the S-Line model with the standard part leather, part cloth seats. The S-Line seats have got really high back on them, which I appreciate, and they've got the extendable base, so you can get a little support under your legs. They are manually adjustable rather than electrically adjustable, but I don't adjust the seat often enough for it to be a big issue for me. Also, the armrest that you can lock in different angles has been really handy, and the fact that you can extend it out, quite liking that too. Space-wise, I'm 6'5", 19 stone, so I'm not a small guy, but in my driving position, plenty of headroom. I have the front seat set kind of in the middle. It's not at its highest or lowest setting, and in the unlikely event that I had to sit behind myself, I do have some knee space and a bit of headroom. Not as much as in the front, but I'm not banging my head off the roof. Coming from a Land Rover Freelander, I find the turning circle incredible. Not quite as good as our i3, but it's pretty tight turning circle. In terms of efficiency, it's just getting better and better the warmer the weather gets. So we were getting kind of 2.8, 2.9 miles per kilowatt hour. We're now up at 3.8 and heading for 280 miles from a charge. Slight niggles. Well, every shiny surface gathers fingerprints like you would not believe. I spend quite a bit of time every week just wiping surfaces down to get rid of fingerprints. It's insane. Why has everything got to be glossy? Next niggle, the carpet mats and the world's most vacuum resistant carpet. The mats are cheap, flimsy rubbish, and the carpet itself is just like a dirt magnet. Now, I'm a big fan of the bottle storage in the doors, but this cubby area where I hide my sunglasses, it's not incredibly useful. It's fine for a phone. It's not quite big enough to take an iPad. It could have been made very slightly wider and an iPad would have fit in there perfectly. So it's not a great use of space, I don't think. Also, on talking about use of space, why is there no frunk? Look at the space under there. Final niggle, you can unlock the car and open all the windows by pressing the key, and you can lock the car and close all the windows by pressing the button on the key, but you can only open the boot. you can't just press a button on the key. You've got to physically touch the button on the boot or the one on the driver's door to close the boot. I've been reading a lot online about people having issues with the lane keep assist and collision warnings, etc, etc. Apart from the couple of niggles that I had, which I put in another video, I've not had any issues like that. And it's not like I'm taking it easy on this car. I mean, this is the road to my kids' football training. It's being used just like any family car would, and it's coping great. And that's all I've got for you today. 6 months in, no regrets. Still think it's a great car. Looks great, drives great. I've had no issues with it, and it's coped with everything I've chucked at it. Can't complain. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you've got any other suggestions for videos, put a comment and let me know. Thanks for watching.